Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to summon on Choose Your Legends 5. Like so many people, I have been waiting for Brave Marianne for the longest time, and she is finally here as a sort of dancer, so I am super excited to pull for her. So we will talk about all these Brave units as we go along, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so plan for today is going to be to pull colorless and blue, but I may pull everything in this first circle just because, I don't know, I just feel like it. But Marianne is definitely, it's Leanne. Oh my gosh. I know by that feather it's Leanne. Oh, I am so happy to see her. This is amazing. Let's go ahead and check IVs. And she is plus speed. That's amazing. So I know not everybody would be super happy to see her, but my Leanne is actually almost plus 10, even though I've only intentionally summoned for her one time. So this is actually going to make her plus 9 for me, and I've given mine a lot of gifts. I absolutely love using her. So that's a super good pull for me. So I was starting to talk about Marianne and why I want her so much. And I have talked about this in previous videos, but she is my favorite female character from Three Houses. She's a character that I resonated with so much because I am someone who's super shy, and I love animals, and I also just love her growth throughout the game. I think it's just so well done. So for all those reasons, of course I want her brave form. And although I was expecting... Oh my goodness! We got Brave Marth. That is an amazing surprise. I'm so glad I pulled red. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is minus attack, but he came home super quick, so I will take that. And you know what? I think we skip that other red. And from now on, we'll just go for colorless and blue. But I was talking about Marianne, and when I did see the Fade channel for the first time, I will admit I was a little bit disappointed. And that was mostly because I got my expectations up way too high. For some reason in my mind, she was going to have Blutgang, and as soon as I saw Marth and that he was red, I was like, that's not going to happen. So I was a little bit sad that she didn't have Blutgang and that she didn't have Dorte with her. But this version is kind of sort of a dancer, and I think it's very intriguing. And I do want a couple of copies if I can get her, so I'm going to pull every colorless that I see. And I will also be pulling blue today, and it's not really because I want Erica. I do think that her art is fantastic, and she might be the strongest character on the banner. But I think that her fodder is really valuable, and I need copies of her skills for like 2 of my Lara shells. I need her skills for my Finn, so I'm going to pull every blue that I see. And I guess if we don't have any of our desired colors, we will go for green next. And I guess for Gatekeeper, he was not a character that I had voted for, and initially I was not excited about him. But I love what they did with his art, especially because he has the kitties and the puppies in his art, and one of the cats looks like my own cat. So for that reason alone, I feel like I have to pull for him if I don't have my desired colors, because then I could be like attacking with my own personal kitten. So I guess we also don't really have a reason to pull red anymore because we did get Marth. Maybe not with optimal IVs, but I am happy with that. So I guess that kind of covers everybody. So with all that said, we can move on to our viewer questions for the day. And as always, if I did not get to your question, I am so sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question that you'd like to ask me, you can just leave it in the comments with #question, and I will add your question to my list. So our first question today comes from Deanna Gamer Gaming, and they ask, who is your favorite boy and girl from Black Eagles, Blue Lions, and Golden Deer? Okay, so I am going to exclude the house leaders from this list. So let's start with Black Eagles. And I would say favorite boy would be Caspar because he's just so full of energy. He's so much fun. And then for female, hands down, it is Petra. I think she's a super interesting character. I think she's very charming, and I love her design too. And then for Blue Lions, that's tough because there are so many great ones, but I think for males, I would have to say Dedue. He's just so ride or die. He's so sweet, and I love him. And then for females, I would have to say Ingrid. And then for Golden Deer, this one is probably the toughest because it has the most characters that I love. But for females, hands down, it's Marianne, for all the reasons I said before. And then for males, I would have to say probably Raphael because he's just so sweet and has such a positive outlook on life. But thank you for that great question. And the next one that we have today comes from Rich Pichu. And they ask, did you play the original Xenoblade, and who is your favorite character from both Xenoblade 1 and 2? And what are your favorite areas from the games? Okay, so I have played Xenoblade 1, 2, and I have played Xenoblade X. X was actually my first one. So from Xenoblade 1, my favorite character is probably Dunban, with Shulk as a close second. But you know what? On my most recent playthrough, Melia really grew on me, so I'd have to say she's a big one too. And then for Xenoblade 2, my favorite has to be Morag. I love that character so much. I feel like she has the best blade in the game. But if I had to pick another character after her, I would probably say Rex, but Pyra as well. There are just so many lovable characters in that game. And then as for areas that I love in the game, for Xenoblade 1, I really love Satoral Marsh, especially at night. I adore the Fallen Arm. I think it's such a cool area. And I also really like Machna Forest. And then for Xenoblade 2, I think that Uriah was probably the prettiest of all of the areas. But I also really like More Ardain just because that music is so good. It like made me want to explore more. And then I also really enjoyed Gormott and Tantal as well. So super long-winded answer, but thank you for that great question. Okay, please be Marianne. Okay, smoke. And we get an Emran. All right, so let's grab that blue, and we will answer another one, and this one comes from Ben Lecoit, and they ask, how would you feel if Itsuki and Tsubasa got a legendary alt, and how would you feel about the rest of the TMS cast getting alts? You know what, I would actually love to see more TMS representation in the game, if only for Resonant Battles, because I feel like those weeks are kind of rough if you don't have those characters built up, and I personally really like TMS. I love Itsuki and Tsubasa. I would love to see them get legendary forms. And I think that one character that does actually have some promise to get an alt would be Tiki from that game. I think it would be super cute. So overall, I'd love to see more of them get alts, but I'd also like to see more of those characters in the game, like Toma and Yashiro and Barry Goodman. I know I'm the only one, but I think he's hilarious. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Jota Desviada, and they ask, what kind of mic do you use for your videos? So I do have a pretty low budget setup, and I have like a very basic blue snowball that I use. I do put like a little piece of foam around to kind of block out some of the noise. It doesn't take away all of the outside noise, but it helps. And yeah, that's what I use. I can't say that I would recommend it if you're going to be like a serious YouTuber, but clearly I am very, very casual, but it does work for me. But thank you for that great question. And the next one that we have today comes from MC, and there are actually a couple for me. And they are, do you think that Grail units should get Resplendence? Do you think the Asker Trio will ever be +10 mergeable? And if there was a Danganronpa collab with Faye, what 4 characters would you want to see on a banner? Okay, so for your first question about Grail units getting Resplendent form, I would love to see that happen. I don't know how other people would feel about it from like a value standpoint, but for me, I would get so much value out of like a Resplendent Xander or female Robin or Lloyd. Please, please give us Lloyd. I would love to see that. But for the next part of your question about the Asker Trio being +10 mergeable, I kind of doubt that it would happen. And it's really just because of Arena. And I don't know how many people actually take Arena super seriously anymore, but I feel like if we were able to +10 the Asker Trio, it might like de-incentivize some people to pull on certain banners for bonus units. I'm not sure how true that would be, but it could be seen as a loss of revenue, so I'm kind of doubtful that it would happen. Although I would love to +10 my Alphonse, I'm not sure if it'll actually happen in the future. And for your last question about a Danganronpa collab, the characters that I would want to see on a banner would be Sonya and Gundam and Kyoko Kirigiri and Taka as well. But thank you for all those great questions. And we get a Ferdinand. I'm kind of worried that we used up all of our luck at the beginning, but you know what? We still have a couple pulls left till Spark. Maybe we'll get an Erica before then. Okay, Smoke. Please be Erica. We get another Valbar, that's fine. So we're going to just stay positive. We're going to answer another question. And this one comes from Colby Schlabach. And they ask, who is your favorite Danganronpa V2 character? So I haven't finished it completely, so hopefully my opinion doesn't change. But my favorite characters are Sonia and Gundam. They are tied. And I would say third place is Fuyuhiko, just because I think he's a super sweet character that does have a lot of growth. But Sonia and Gundam for sure. But thank you for that great question. Okay, please be Marianne. It's Chad. All right, so let's grab this next blue. And our next question today comes from Jason Mock. And they ask, what do you think of my summoner customizations? I think that we are getting there. I think that they've added a couple that are nice, but my biggest bone to pick with the whole thing is that they don't have a blonde character that looks like me. The one that I picked is just like almost perfect. I just want her to be blonde. So if we could like change the hair color a little bit, or they gave us a few more options with some more accessories, I would absolutely love it. So in summary, I think it's nice, could be a little better, but I do like it. But thank you for that great question. And the next one that we have today comes from Rocky Sean 2341, and they ask, who is your favorite side character from Wind Waker? I would say definitely Medley. I think she is just such a sweet character. She actually made me enjoy the Earth Temple. It's an area that I actually would not have liked initially, kind of creepy. But I loved the gameplay with her so much. She was so much fun, so she is definitely my favorite. But thank you for that great question. So we are going to just do one more circle before our Spark. Okay, no colorless. So I guess we'll have to get Marianne the old-fashioned way with a Spark. Maybe this is Erica. And it's a Florina. So maybe not my luckiest session, but we have Sparks available, so that is totally fine. Let's get our Marianne. And I'm so glad that we have this feature. Oh, whoops. Let's get our Marianne. Yay! Oh gosh, I love her so much. I'm so glad she's here. And we get the thing. All right, so I think that I'm going to stop here for now. I'm probably going to Spark later for maybe Erica, who knows, but hopefully I get something good on my way because I do have a little bit of a pity rate left over.
I must have courage.